This will be a video response to jezuzfreek777's video titled Where Atheism Dies. First of all, I know that life is finite, and I think it's kind of sad that a lot of us really don't take that into consideration. We all know this to be true. It's somewhere in the back of our minds, which we think about after our pensions or after a day at work or after a long day of school, whatever. It's just sad because, as you said, we all have a meeting with the Reaper and none of us is gonna miss it. But I don't need your God to give my life any more meaning than it already has now. I don't need your God to give me some promise of eternal happiness or eternal torment to motivate me to be the best person and to take advantage of life in all the ways that I can. I don't need your God in any area of my life whatsoever. Death may be all that's coming to me, but what makes people, what makes us worth remembering, is not the way that we die, it's the way that we live. Unbearable agony might be all that's waiting for me, but I would go willingly knowing that I lived a life that was fulfilling, that was happy, and that helped others, so it was meaningful. It's not a perfect life I've lived, far from it, but at least I stayed true to who I am, and at least I helped the world. And I made a difference somehow, no matter how insignificant. If someone would miss me when I died, if someone would feel sad, or if someone mourned my death, I would know that I at least had meaning in my life. And I would go to hell willingly, knowing this. I find it difficult to believe that a loving and caring God like yours, as you say he is, would have a difficult time accepting or even being proud of who I am and how I've lived my life. I have a difficult time believing that this supposedly merciful God would be so petty as to ask that all of his children follow his way or the highway. And even though I disagree with your God on many points, even though I've spoken out against your God in so many ways, I can't help but think that your God would at least understand me as a different person. Maybe a misguided one, maybe one who caused a lot of harm unknowingly, but someone who at least stuck true to themselves and didn't fake believing, again, and didn't fake being in the religion just for the sake of entering heaven or avoiding hell. But let's just say that is the case. Let's just say your God really doesn't like people like me, and he doesn't care how good you are. He doesn't care if you are the most benevolent atheist on the face of the earth. You're going to hell if you don't accept what he wants, which is supposedly what Christian doctrine says, that even the worst rapists and serial killers, as long as they accept Jesus Christ in their hearts, passage into heaven. No matter how good you are as an atheist, you're going straight down to hell. That's what Christian doctrine says. And if that is the case, I guess that's okay too. I can't and probably never will understand why you Christians think going to heaven with your God is such a great thing. I can't even begin to comprehend why you think that staying in the presence of a God whose idea of morality makes me absolutely sick to the stomach is ever going to make me happy, let alone eternally happy. I don't understand how you think that it's perfectly okay for this God to allow millions of his children to suffer and die in the most agonizing ways imaginable, while he claims to love them, no less. And while he claims to love them, he allows them to suffer unbearable, eternal agony in hell, which he himself allowed to continue. I do not understand why this sort of reward would be worth taking. I mean, this is humanity we're talking about. You are turning your back on millions of people who will roast in hell. Most of them which it wasn't even their fault to begin with, considering how they didn't even worship your God, maybe because they didn't even know about your God. So I don't even understand how you think that you will enjoy a moment in heaven with your God while knowing that millions of people are suffering every day, every second of that day in hell, while you sit there and watch them and do nothing. You really have to be apathetic to the point of evil. You have to be selfish to the point of inhumanity to think that this is a prize worth getting, no matter what the cost. I guess that's my answer, Jesus Freak. May the truth always be heard.